Welcome into Rick Renner, Texas High School Hysteria, powered by Ford. Ford is the best in Texas. Subscribe now and follow on YouTube, Twitter, Apple and Google Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Odyssey, or any of your favorite streaming platforms. And never miss an episode. Joining me now, Texas High School Football Hall of Famer, a man that is a multiple National Coach of the Year winner and State Coach of the Year. He's got so many trophies, he needs a condo on the side just to house all that stuff. He's won over 90% of his games and had a hand in 8 state championships. The one and only Gary Joseph of the mighty Katy Tigers. How you doing, Coach?
I'm doing fine, thank you. Appreciate you having us on.
So good to talk to you as always. And, you know, I look at this team, and you've been around coaching for a long time, some 40-plus years, and this might be one of your younger teams. What's been the biggest challenge with this bunch?
You just said it, growing up, and maturing now that they're the guy, and they don't have the other people in front of them. And we had a good football team last year and things, and a lot of senior laden teams, and we've done that before, but this is probably the most inexperienced team we have coming back in a while.
Is it kind of weird for you? Because, 50 graduating seniors from last year, and what a good run those guys had.
And no question, those kids did a great job, and like I said, they last 2 years, I guess, where they were 28-2 and stuff. So it's not bad and things, but 3 years they've been 42-3. So, I mean, it's been a good run for those kids that have been on varsity that long and things. The biggest problem I think is somebody's got to take control. Somebody's got to be the guy. You graduate a great football player like a Seth Davis that the kids, relied on. He averaged over 10 yards a carry 2 years in a row, at the first down every time he touches the ball. So it gives you an opportunity to be successful and things. That, defensively, it's about growing up. And I think that's where, non-district, we're going to have to grow up in a hurry. You play a THSCA team and a good Clear Springs team, and very good, playoff bound district champions last year and things. So, and we open district because of the size of our district now. We have 8 district games. So, it's going to be about growing up in a hurry and things. But yeah, that's part of it. Thanks.
Offensively, does it start with the 2 studs you have on the offensive line?
It's got to, and that's always been one of our benchmarks is our offensive line. We've got our offensive line coach, Gerald Briggs. He does a really good job. Bobby Ortiz has been with me for 19 years and stuff, so he understands. And then, Ty Carter's here to help them. So we got 3 offensive linemen, and our tight end coach, Brandon Franklin's been with us about 9 years. So we've got an experienced staff and things, and, they understand what it takes and stuff. It's just, it's a matter of growing these kids up.
Defensively, who are some of the stars you're going to lean on early on?
Well, we don't really have any stars. We've got some good football players and things, and that remains to be seen. Jed Olotu-Judah, he was our nickel back last year. He'll be one of our safeties this year.
Tell me about Hell Week, as the kids talk about. It's a Katy tradition. Tell me about what those days are like and how you use that to kind of bond with these kids and become such a team and become as one.
Hell Week is just basically kind of a rite of passage with our kids. I think they'd be upset if they didn't have it. It's just the week to start off, football season, and we do a lot of, but the way things are now with the UIL and allowing people to do skills for an hour a day and doing the strength conditioning for 2 hours on top of that, it's not like we haven't seen the kids all summer and things. And, that's the difference. But, if I tried to do away with it, they bought, because the other ones, they didn't get to go through it. They need to, so, it's part, like you said, it's a tradition now and things. And it's just, we do a lot of conditioning things and do some old fashioned things. We climb ropes and, like you've seen, and we do it at early in the morning. It's, of course, now a lot of people are doing things early in the morning because of the heat, but we've always done it early in the morning at sunrise and things. And we'll continue doing that. But it's just, they go through about 3 stations, each day and things, and it takes about 30 minutes. And then after that's over, you start football practice. So then you go through football practice, and our big deal right now when we start with our kids is just repetitions. So they're going to be out there doing a lot of reps and stuff, and it's a grind, but it's supposed to be a grind. That's what it's about, is learning how to grind, learning how to sit there and play when you're tired and things. So yeah, I mean it's a for the coaches, the kids, and then the ones that don't match, don't make their time, for coming in, and they'll do even more after that. And they do a thing called happy time, and it's anything but happy, but it's okay.
Everything but happy.
That's right.
Well, you've made a lot of people happy in that community. You got to 250 wins last year, and you continue to go after 300. I mean, you can make the case that you're the Greg Popovich, if not better, of high school football in the state of Texas. You've won over 90% of your games. How have you been able to maintain that constant consistency despite graduation?
I think, the first thing is we have a good administration here that allows me to hire good football coaches and things, from our athletic department, athletic director department, our building principal is second to none, and those things are very important, important for coaches and things. And then we have at Katy still a community, and football is still important here and things, and and that's the great thing. It says the pandemic, it hasn't, we hadn't had tremendous crowds all the time because now they're airing all the games on TV and everything. But when the playoffs come, the people will be there too and stuff. I want them to be able to come out and support our kids, because those are the ones that are putting in the time and effort to do this. Not just supporting our kids, support all the kids that play the game.
Well, you're so respected in the greater Houston area. I think about Kirk Martin, a good friend of mine back at Manville. He says that you still are the king of coaching in the greater Houston area. What does that make you feel when you hear that kind of stuff from your peers?
It's very humbling and things, but like I said, it's because of the people that I've surrounded myself with and things. And I'm not going to tell you I can't do this by myself, and I won't do this by myself. And like I said, it takes a whole, it takes a whole community to do this. And it takes like I said, from the administration, my secretary and these kids, we have good kids. We have parents of these kids that, it's different than a lot of places. The parents of these kids will let us coach their kids without questioning us and things. Of course, it's hard to question success you've had. How do you sit there and argue against that? But it's not like that in a lot of places, in a lot of communities, and I understand that and stuff. So we've been very fortunate to sit there and do that. And of course, I was here as an assistant coach, so people here know me. I know their kids, I know their grandkids, and so it's been good from that standpoint. And Johnson's, was the head coach here before I was here, and I worked for him for several years. He still comes by. It's still important to him. So as long as it remains important for us and our community and things, I think we'll have a chance to sit there and be successful.
You've had so many monster matchups over the years, and there are several that jump out to me: Galena Park, North Shore, Austin, Westlake, and Cedar Hill. What are the ones that you think about the most when you look back at your illustrious career that really jump out at you as the battles that were just the most incredible battles for you?
We've had some great games and great things, the North Shores, and just to get out of the Houston area when we played them, played them in regular season, and both of us had struggles getting, just finding games and things and stuff. But they were a great battle. Manville and the great teams they had with Derek King and Kirk Martin, and and of course the epic battle we had with Cibolo Steele and things. And they had a real fine team, and Mike Yanks and that crew was there. And then as not just one, because everybody wants to take they're giving Katy their best shot, and I understand that, and it's hard. You remember more about the losses than you do the wins, and and that's not a good thing, but it is. And that's what sticks with you is how and why you lost and things, and so it's. But it's just, it's a fun thing. We've had some great district games, and our district has grown to 9 teams and things, and it's just you start off early and you got to continue going, and avoid afford a slip up and stuff. So that's what's changed in this thing, and it's just the magnitude, and everybody's got good coaches, and everybody's got good kids and stuff, and you just have to, your kids have to have some type of edge, and ours is just tradition and things and stuff, I think.
Ever in your wildest dreams did you think there would be so many teams in the Katy ISD and so many that are 6A? Thinking back to when you first started, say some 40 years ago, to come into this whole Katy community, and now you look at it, it's unreal. It's almost like a state tournament just in the Katy ISD.
It is, and that's been an amazing thing. People ask me, and when I started here, there was 2, Katy and Taylor, Katy Taylor and stuff. And all of them are 6A. Every one of them that are opened up, they're opening up a 10th in 2 years. I first came to Katy, it was about in one high school, and those rice fields are all shopping centers now, and restaurants and things and stuff. I-10 is just blown up and things.
It's pretty amazing. Now, when you look at the balance of power in the greater Houston area, with John Kay, the former coach at Galena Park North Shore, moving on to the college ranks, and Rice, do you think there will be a change in power in the area?
No, I don't. I think it's going to be the same schools that you have to go through. Their district is tough too, with Summer Creek and Kenny Harrison and THSCA and Coach Stomp, and even C. King is really they got a tough district over there too. There's no question about that. But and then the Pearland district is tough, and Clear Springs, it's been on the rise the last couple of years, and they've got a good program over in that part of the woods. And of course, Dickinson and Coach Nelson, they do an outstanding job. So, the people that have been there are going to continue to be there because of the programs they have. The young ones and the other ones, I'm not saying can't get there, and they'll get there eventually and stuff. But it's just, like I said, it's been great for us. And, even the Katy School District, you've seen different teams. Pato High School won a state championship in 5A a couple of years ago. They're talented around here and in the area and stuff. And Pato was very talented last year and things. So it's, the talent's here. But as far as the change of guard, I don't see it right now.
What does it say about Texas high school football when you see guys like Joey McGuire from Cedar Hill doing big things at Texas Tech, Jeff Traylor doing big things at UTSA? You've been around this game for a long time. What does it say about the Texas high school coaches to have that kind of success on the college level immediately?
I think it speaks highly of their character and their work ethic and stuff. And the people they surrounded themselves with too, and things. He had some great, all those coaches have had great staffs and great people, and they know how to handle kids. And I think that's the biggest thing is why they're such great recruiters, because they can handle kids and they know how to handle kids. Both of them have won multiple state championships. They know how to win. That goes without saying and stuff. But I think it just speaks highly of the opportunities that both of them have gotten and stuff too, and things. A lot of coaches in the state of Texas, I feel like, could have done the same thing, because there's that kind of quality in the state and things. But those two, as far as being dynamic personalities and fun people, they're dynamic, and they've won, and they understand what it takes to win.
Is it a little different when you look at Joey McGuire? You had so many battles with him. He always talks about, oh my God, I got to face Katy in the state championship game again. It was like a holiday tradition. But now he's coming in to Katy and the ISD there, and he's trying to recruit your kids. You guys have some fun conversations about that?
Don't talk about the game. We talk. We're friends and things. That's the great thing about this profession is the friendships you make. And you may be enemies for a week, a year and stuff, but the coach profession is like that. You've been to the coaching convention and just to get to see all these people that are your friends and get to say hello and get to acknowledge their success and things. That's what makes coaching special and things. But Joey and Coach Traylor used to bring his staff down every year to Katy and stuff to visit with our staff and things. So I've got great respect for all those coaches.
We know you as just a tireless worker. Nobody works harder than you. And even in the off season, we hear those stories where you're in the office every single day. What is it that drives you so much?
The kids, I'm here to, for the kids, and I'm here to give the kids our best and my best and make sure that this program doesn't go down in my watch. And that would crush a lot of people in here to watch the program go down, and you talked about North Shore, John K. Willie Gaston, the new head coach, will do a great job there, and he's been around. He knows what it takes to win. I'm very fortunate, to have been an assistant here and I have a lot of time and effort invested in this community and invested in these kids and invested in this program and stuff. But I mean, it's not about Gary Joseph. It's about, like we said, it's about the kids and these people wanting the best for their kids.
I know, yeah, it's about football and winning games, but for you personally, you really enjoy building great men away from football. How much do you cherish hearing from your former players as they are so successful in life as husbands and dads and in their businesses?
You can ask my wife. That's a blessing. That's the fun thing about this and watching people that played for us 10 or 15, 20 years ago, come back and go through the field house and look at the pictures and reminisce and talk about the people in the pictures that they're up here, talk about whose names on the board and type of thing. That's the neat thing. That's a relationship that you have and hope to have had as coach and things. It's what, you try to build within your system. It's not, like you said, wins and losses are important. Make no mistake about it. You can play the game to win. You don't, you just retire. You don't play just to sit there for the competition. You play to win. You teach your kids how to win. You teach them how to win the right way. You teach them how to sit there. If you have a setback in life, you teach them how to respond to that too and stuff. And that's what coaching's about and things. You teach them how to have respect for each other, respect for the process and things, and knowing it's a process and things. But yeah, that's what's here.
The thing that's always amazed me about your program is there's such a high level of unselfishness with your players. And that is not an easy thing to do nowadays, but you've always been able to do that. How have you been able to build that in the players to realize that this is not an individual sport and you got to do it as a team?
Well, that's the big thing, and that's the way we win. And it's not the way of the world today, because the way of the world is when somebody does something, it's all about them. It's all about the individual and about beating my chest and stuff. I want our kids to celebrate. But I want them to celebrate for each other, not because they've done something, but because their team has done something, and learning what it means to be a teammate, learning what it means to be unselfish. When they get to be parents and have kids of their own, they're going to have to be unselfish and give up their time and stuff, and sometimes you're not going to be able to go out and play golf and stuff and things, and you have to give up your time as a father and a husband to sit there and do that. And they have to learn that, and they have to learn how to be unselfish. In this day and age, you see too many things on TV, where it's all about me. And it's not an easy thing. And, that's part of what we talk about as far as, our core values. And one of them is being unselfish. And that, to me, there's nothing harder to gain than that and stuff. But like you said, that's what we've been able to do. That's why we've had good teams and stuff.
It always feels like it's such a defining factor of Katy football. When you look at the players, the families, the community, how has that community shaped you in your life? Because everybody's so worried about you retiring, but you just keep on going.
Well, I don't know if they're worried about me retiring. Some of them want me to retire. It's been great. I've raised 3 kids here. First came here, I thought it wasn't going to be, 3 or 4 years and move on. It's like I'd come from Westlake when I came here and things. And it shaped me because, it showed me how important, athletics and competitive athletics are for these kids. A lot of these kids, if they wouldn't have had competitive athletics, they would sat there and understood, what it means to compete, not just in football or basketball or whatever, how to compete in life. And I think that's the great thing that Katy has shown me. There's a lot of people here that, Katy hadn't won when a district championship in 25 years and stuff and things. And just to sit there and see the people and make these kids understand they can be successful. In 2008, I had a kid on the football team. He played on our state championship team, and the kid really came out of his shell when he did it. But the thing that was important, my point in this, is he goes to Texas A&M, engineering school at Texas A&M. It just proves that our kids can do anything anybody else's kids can do, as long as they sit there and believe in themselves and have faith and work at it. That's what the community's taught me of.
Very well said. I think about your three kids. All of them have been in coaching. It was real fun last year when your son Jeff led Port Neches Groves all the way to the state championship game, the first time they had been there since 1999. What was that whole process like for you as a proud father, going to AT&T and seeing your son take a team to a place that they hadn't been in decades?
It's a great feeling. Like I said, it was great to see that, he was happy, and you want your kids to be happy in whatever they do and things. Proud for him and proud for the work that they put in to sit there and do that. He was, he's a very smart kid and things and stuff. And, when he went to school, he went to the business school at Texas A&M and things. And he got out and he came to me and says, do you care if I don't finish in business and I get into coaching? And I said, I asked him, why would you want to do that? You're going to make a heck of a lot more money in doing that. And I'll be upset. I asked him why. And he said, because you go to work every day and you enjoy going to work every day. And it's not just a job. He said, and I want that. So, and he got out of coaching for a while, and he found out exactly what he said. It's a way of life. It's not just a job and things. But to watch him sit there and have that success was a great, great feeling. Great for myself, great for my wife, and great for my family. I'm very fortunate. My dad coached for a long time, and my brother-in-law, he was a head coach, and did a fantastic job. I coached against him, and and then of course my son-in-law, he had a great year. He was the offensive line coach at Tulane last year. They go and win the Cotton Bowl and stuff and things. So, it's just, it's all in our family. My brother, has been a head coach at a couple of different places and been at junior college as a coordinator and things and stuff. Family, it pretty much, lives and breathes football. I have another nephew that coaches up in your area, McGuire. He's offensive coordinator up there and stuff. So everybody gets to talk and share stories and stuff. So it's a pretty good deal.
The influence of your family in this state is absolutely enormous. I know when you went into the Hall of Honor, with the Texas High School Coaches Association, you talked so much about your dad, Eddie. Tell me about some of the lessons that you learned from him.
I guess when you talked about some of them, I don't think I've ever met a finer Christian person, a person that their faith was important to. And, that's the way we were raised and things and stuff. And you didn't go to church, there wasn't a Sunday that went by that we weren't in church and stuff and things. And I think I learned that from him. I think I learned, how to handle kids and what was important. And I think I learned how to be a good father, and I've told the coaches I've coached with that, they have kids like you do. It's not just about quantity, because you're not going to always be there, but it's about quality. And it's about when you are there, they are the most important.
And you got to coach 22 years under the great Mike Johnston. You talked about how he's always around checking on you. And he's a guy that can give you advice if you need it. What kind of lessons did you learn from him? And those suspenders, I've always waited for you to break out those red suspenders.
No, that's Mike Johnson. That's right here. But no, I mean, I think that, it was good working on Mike. I'm very fortunate in my career. I worked with Lynn Etheridge when I first got into coaching. Of course, Lynn's in the Hall of Honor. And I worked for a guy named Joe Means, who was in the Hall of Honor. And then, to sit there and work. And I worked for Lynn's brother, Bobby Etheridge, at Austin Westlake for a couple of years and things. And I got to work with good people, and you pick up little tidbits from each person you work for. Of course, I had the greatest background from my father and stuff, but But from those other people, you learn just little things. I guess Mike's biggest thing that I learned was just organizational stuff. And being prepared. And being prepared for every situation. You don't let something come up that's going to overwhelm you. It's the same, but you're in a place for 42 years, it's a good while and stuff. You can imagine how many people, you talk about how many people are like me and want me here. Well, you can multiply that by about 5, and that's probably how many people don't want me here too. So.
Come on, I don't believe a word of that. Well, yeah. You've coached just amazing players that have obviously played on the highest level in the NFL. And I know it's not easy, but if you were able to narrow down to your top 5 players that you have ever coached at Katy, who would those 5 be?
You're fixing to get me in a lot of trouble when I start answering this question. I'll be a lot of trouble, and the internet's probably going to blow up when I sit there and get off this thing about who I left out and who I didn't. There's been some tremendous players, and great. They may not have been great college players, but they were great high school football players. And that's what I'm striving for. I want our kids to be great high school football players. The ones that are fortunate enough to go to the next level that fit a mold and are so big and so fast. But, the high school career is a career they're going to remember more than any other because these are the kids they grew up with. I guess the most talented, one of the best football players we've had here was Rodney Anderson. Rodney went to the University of Oklahoma. Very, very unfortunate, injuries and things and stuff. And he was a really, really fine, all 3 years he was he played 4 years on the varsity because he got moved up as a freshman when we had injuries and stuff. He played and did real well there. But all 4 years, three of the sophomore, juniors, we went to state finals and stuff. We won one state championship with him and stuff, but we were in the state finals 2 other years. He's just a tremendous person and a tremendous football player. One of those kids that you grow up hoping you have somebody like him every year. Again, number one, because he was just a good leader. He wasn't a lot real vocal kid, but he led because the kids believed in him. And they believed in his work ethic, and he worked at it. He worked extremely hard at it. Never complained about anything and stuff. So he was a very good player. Seth Davis, set the all-time rushing record in Katy, and stuff. And for a kid that was 5'7", 155 pounds when he was a sophomore, and he got really big by the time he was a senior at 170 and things. But to sit there and set that kind of record and stuff. Of course, I know he'll be the first to tell you he did it because he had great people around him and stuff, and and things. And that's the unselfishness you were talking about a while ago and stuff. And they can sit there and talk about their teammates and what they've done as much as they can talk about themselves and stuff. But Seth was a great player. I had a kid named Rusty Busey. Rusty was a really fine football player, one of the best defensive football players we've ever had here at Katy. He was very smart and a very good football player. Played with some good football teams. They won the state championship, our first state championship in 1997. That was with him. We had, a lot of Division I kids in our 2015 team. You were going to ask what's the best team. That probably was the best team we've had here. And 3 or 4 of them go 16-0. So they're all great teams. But that one was very special on things. And Collin Wilder was on that one. Collin, leader, 4-year letterman, state record, which can't be broken because he's played more, played 16 games for 4 straight years and stuff. So, he can't play any more games than that stuff. But just his leadership and the way he played, and the way he carried himself and things. And, he played when he was hurt and stuff. And the kids saw that, and they fed off of that. Just so many of them back in 94. Bill Jotzlau was another running back we had and stuff and things that was really good. Where Eddie Dalton played here. I know that's more than 5, but there were some of the kids that we've had that you look back every day and you think, well, but we had some special ones too. I had a kid that played safety for us for 3 years, started as a sophomore. He was 155 pounds. And, he started 3 years, and he was the epitome of what Katy football is because he was very smart. He worked extremely hard, and he cared about what he was doing. And the smart thing sometimes gets overlooked, but it's important.
Gary, great stuff. Always a pleasure to talk to you. Remember, you're never allowed to retire because I cannot do Texas high school football without you.
Well, I appreciate that, and I appreciate you saying that. I'll be sure and tell our athletic director that too.
Well, continued success, my man. Have a great season.
Thank you. I appreciate you, and good luck to you.
Thanks for checking out Rick Renner, Texas High School Hysteria. Make sure you subscribe and never miss an episode. You can catch us on YouTube, Apple and Google Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, Pandora, and Odyssey, or any of your favorite streaming platforms. Tune in, and we will see you soon.